Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 36 of Let's Play Pillars of Eternity, which is very late, ladies and gentlemen. I apologise, I was helping my mother last night because my stepdad was, well, issues with my personal life, put it that way, not personal life, issues with my family. No, that's not even right. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so I'm recording this just as I woke up in the morning, so let's get straight into this. So it should be out in literally at 9 o'clock, which is just like 15 minutes after this, so about probably half 9 will be by the time it's actually rendered. Not rendered, by the time the YouTube services are rendered. But anyway, let's talk to the people in the... fuck what this is bar called. The Charred Barrel. So let's talk to Friston. The young elf is dressed in gaudy robes that he seems ready to cast off. He picks at a heavily brocaded sleeve and continually adjusts the gold chain around his neck. He looks up at you. Did she send you to run me out of town? You can tell her I'm not going anywhere without that medallion. I told Cyril I wouldn't let her sell it if that's what you hear about. Then save yourself the trouble. He puffs up a chest but glances at the exit. What are you on about? He relaxes. If you have to ask, then you're obviously not here to shake me down. Cyril's a courtesan over at the salty mast in Andra's gift. We have red light districts? Alright, we need to go there, ladies and gentlemen, just saying. We've been working together for over a year now. I find a noble with more gold than sense, fill him up with liquor, and then send him her way. They have a good time, and Cyril takes her fee, and a little extra. He rubs his fingers together. 100 coppers here, a trinket there. It's a bounty for us, and all these lords and ladies never notice anything missing. Go on. Anyway, we've always split the bounty, until a week ago. He squeezes his lips in a tight frown. She takes a necklace of some noble. It's an Aldwyn medallion, damn near priceless. That relic is sacred to my clan, but she won't part with it for any sum of gold I can afford. For any sum I could afford. He tugs at the gold medallion around his neck, and even if I wanted to, I can't go home without it. Sagani brows furies in pity. That's a hard thing. Tell me more about your situation. He picks at the hole of his sleeve. What do you want to know? What makes this medallion so important to you? I grew up in Inglanfeth with the Shattering Spear clan. We Glanfathans have protected Aldwyn ruins for thousands of years. It's the one duty the gods ask of us in exchange for freedom to live as we please. He fidgets with an emerald ring on his pinky. But treasure hunters looted the ruins in our territory, and we left the wild we dwelled in for generations. Yeah, making sure I missed anything. Most of my clanmates scattered to towns around Deerwood and probably live on the crust of bread. He looks at his embroidered robes with disgust. Restoring this medallion to the ruins could earn us the gods' forgiveness. The Shattering Spear could go home. It is all rather fascinating. A single medallion to earn the gods' favour and so return home. It reminds me of a story I heard somewhere. Tell me about Cyril. She's a courtesan at the Salty Mast over in the Gundra's Gift. She wasn't born to much, but she's done what she has to do in order to escape that. He gazes at a string of amber beads around his wrist. She's a good friend. He folds arm in his trailing, wrinkled sleeves. Without her, I'd probably live in hand to mouth like the rest of the Shattering Spear. But this isn't about her or me. It's about the 40 people in my clan and the way of life we've held onto for generations. You seem like you've done well enough for yourself. He clenches at his heavily adorned hand. It was this or scrape by on the gutters like the rest of my clan. But I'd give it all for that medallion. I offered to, but it's worth more than anything I've got, and Cyril knows it. I don't understand why you can't take your money in return to Glanfeth. He sighs, arching his neatly plucked eyebrows. That's because you're used to looking at things with attachment. Our community isn't a place, it's a connection to history and meaning. He makes circles with his wrist. Like an anchor, defending the ruins for the people, for the gods, gave us purpose. Without that, we were adrift. Does this make sense to you? Yeah, kinda. He smiles and nods slowly. Then you know what it's like. How to care for something that you can't explain. That's all I wanted to ask. I'll go get this medallion for you. You'll find her at the Salty Mast. The only way anyone sees her these days is by paying, so you'll have to go through Maya. He fidgets with his sleeves, but whatever you do, please don't hurt her. They always take away the best option, don't they, ladies and gentlemen? It's like, don't kill her. Well, what do you want me to do then? Like, come on, who's that? So that's an understudy. That's a noble. And that's a noble as well. So yeah, it looks like no one over here to talk to. I don't remember. I believe there's Nonton here. Let's talk to him. Beg your pardon. Oh, it's you. It's good to see you well. We had a few rough days here. But then we found this place, and we're kind enough to hire us both. Thanks, things have been wonderful. I can't tell you how much we appreciate what you've done. Who's Nonton? I don't remember this person. Let's talk to Ingrid. Alright, okay, talk to him. This man is dressed in neat but functional clothes. His sun-wrinkled skin and limber muscle culture reflect a life spent in the wilderness. Well met, what brings you to the Charred Barrel? What's on your menu? So, let's get out. Let's get rid of all the things that aren't... Oh, whoa, you're not having that. I can tell you that much. You ain't having that. Oh, you can have, fuck it, you can have that. You just can't have... You know, let's get rid of fine shit as well. Like, I'm not gonna... I mean, at this point, we already have pretty much all the useful stuff. And we need to give this to, what's-her-face. And as I don't actually want any food, the only thing I could want is those. But I already have the maximum, so we'll just take the free grand. Alright, so we've got these two to talk to, I believe. Yep. So let's go talk to Hannah Oraceus first. You see a woman clad in expensive finery. Her eyes flash as she interrogates a trembling wreck on the ground. Reaching into his pocket, her hands curled around an address, and she smiles grimly. Moments later, she is in a bedraggled alleyway, her pace quickening. Her braids trail around a corner and she is upon them, or perhaps they are upon her. The action does not last, as she easily dispenses off man after man. Searching their faces, clothes, shouts for something she fails to find. Frustrated, she moves on, but not quickly enough for Norland to attack. Norland attacks her from the back. Wait, yeah, not early enough as Anne Norland attacks her from behind. The seal upon her finger glittering with malice. The woman's eyes are light upon it, and she twists to evade this blow, and her eyes burn bright. Perhaps this was not a wasted trip after all. And I didn't start the timer. Fuck's sake, ladies and gentlemen, that's just annoying, isn't it? Victor, you see a large group of people gathered in the common area of the large inn. This man is standing there in the midst of the people, engaged in conversation with someone. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. He is smiling and talking gregariously, moving from person to person with care and ease. He is able to extract himself from one conversation and insert himself into another without breaking his stride. He kisses the hand of a well-dressed woman, dipping her and then twirling her back into the arms of her escort. He moves on to another group, slapping someone on the back while laughing at a joke, and then he's off again. Sliding between people, hugging someone, shaking hands, he never stops. Finally, he seems to have hit his limit and excuses himself from the gathering as much as the dismay of everyone there. He smiles and waves as he leaves, making a little bow with a flourish of his hand as he closes the door. Once he is away from the inn and around a corner, he pulls several objects from a concealed pocket in his jacket. He looks at each one in his turn, a necklace, a brooch, a couple coin pouches, and a small jewel. Smiling, he pours the money into his palm and quickly counts it, still aimlessly wandering the streets. He passes a beggar who holds out a bowl to him, pleading for a pittance. The man stops, smiles at the beggar, and drops all the coins into the bowl, then walks off, whistling happily. Alright, that was a pretty interesting story. Let's have a look at those two. No, they're just nobles. So what's back here? There's a downstairs and an upstairs. And it's just a normal cook. So we'll go upstairs first. It's we're probably more allowed upstairs than we are downstairs, so this makes most sense. Right. There's a pirate. We've got some more people I believe I can read. Yeah, 3 more people to read. Let's do so. You see a group of children shouting, twisted laughter erupting from 2 small mouths. An eyeless boy, face grown over with a strange black tusk, cowers against a log. His small shoulders shake as he whispers to himself, trying to block out the relentless trail of insults. Freak, monster, deathhead. The boy stays long after the other children have leave. You see the same eyeless boy, now a man. Many years later, another group crowds him, but this time it's an audience. He tells a long joke about a ghost in a privy, and by the time he reaches the punchline, the crowd is yelling, starting to sound very much like the first. So, Kiliasis. God, this guy's got some nice, got some fucking text, hasn't he? Oh, shit. There we go. You see a pair of chain gloves sitting on a table between two men. The gloves are inlaid with gold runes and glow with a faint blue aura. This man stands on one side of the table, and across from him is another man dressed in arcane robes. The man retrieves a small pouch and hands it to the wizard, telling him to count it to ensure his entire payment is there. The wizard smiles, giving the man half a bow, and then empties the pouch into his hand. He wanted these gloves protected from thieves and other unsavory characters, he says, dropping the coins piece by piece back into the bag. Put them on, and they will never leave you. The man slowly slips his hand into the glove, a look of satisfaction on his face. He smiles and falters a little once they are on his hands. The gloves flash briefly and then start making a light metallic tickling noise. The look of satisfaction quickly becomes one of the concern, and he grabs at the gloves, trying to pull them off his hands. His fingers tug at the openings, but they have shrunk, trapping his hand inside. The metal begins to work its way to his skin, small drops of blood appearing on the surface of the gloves. The man drops to his knees, fighting with and crying in pain. The gloves constrict until they have completely shrunk around the man's hand, becoming one with his flesh. The man looks in horror at his hand and then up to the wizard, who has finished counting his money and standing at the door. You certainly won't be losing them now, he says, stepping through the door, slamming it behind him, leaving the man on the floor, staring at his hands. Not gonna lie, I think that's rather fucking rude of him, but what can you do? And Ileana Renault. I think that's how you say that, Renault. You see a woman sway, her voice floating gloriously above the court, littering and lightly and sweet. It twists around them, and then they smile, entrapped as she palms their hearts one by one. She begins to dance, but something in her step is offbeat. She pauses, confused, a snatch of something foreign in the air. Oh, a snatch of some foreign sound in the air. Competing, resisting. It takes her a moment to spot him, a small man with a single brow chanting under his breath, disrupting her song with his staccato incarnation. She intensifies her dance, the swing of her hips wider, her feet a flicker above the square tile ground. The underlying chant in her own song more persuasive. His lips twist intently, vibrating with the effort of countering her charm, and then a note crystal clear, bright and tinkling. He begins to smile, dazed as her song continues, and he forgets all about resisting. She has won the day and the court. All right, let's finish off up here. We got pirate. Oh wait, we've got a pirate with a name. Maelwif watches you through coal-rimmed eyes. She has her hand on the hilt of her blade, jangling the jewels that hang from her waist. We didn't know each other, stranger. Best keep it that way. What brings you the Charred Barrel? She raises an eyebrow. What it looks like. Good wine and a little peace and quiet. She flips a copper coin with her thumb. And scarier and doesn't ask too many questions. You know something like Brackenberry local. I'm a sailor, she gives you a half smile, and a liberator of certain goods. She casually fingers a large earring. And the nice thing about the snobs here is that they're usually too polite to ask more. Oh, fair enough then. Well, I'm not a snob, but I'll go anyway. I can't believe the game just assumed we were snobs. That's just fucking rude. I mean, we do have a castle and everything, but 17 hours and I can get myself beginning on, you know, more important things. You can take prisoners during your trial. That's interesting. But no, we need a barracks. Then we need to get the western barb. We need to basically just get all the ones that give extra defense, like the west curtain wall, which we can build after we get the western Barbican towers. Apparently towers don't give you as much as I'd expect, but that's fair. Anyway, we're gonna go check the basement out, see what's down there. Probably nothing useful, but I mean, as long as the game allows me to go there, I'm gonna fucking go there, aren't I? Look, bandits. Lovely. Let's talk to the bandits. You're just having a chat with your associates. Well, apparently I can't actually talk to them, so I'm just gonna, you know... That's actually pointless. There's no reason to steal that. Well, apparently I can't kill the bandits, so, I mean, you know, fucking ruined. Let's just leave. Well, some of us are doing pretty shit, so let's get rest here and see what the rest is like.
Welcome.
Let's see your rooms. So he has noble stay and a criminal's getaway. I'll have the cheap one, I guess. It's not as good as one we normally get, so we are down the athletic bonus, but once we level them up, they'll be fine. Right, so let's continue looking around Brackenbury. Believe we haven't looked in here, which is the Raymont Manor, but let's have a look at the quests we've got. So Hermit of Hedret House, Lady Webb's activity. Yeah, it's Laden Webb stuff. Travel to Dyford Village and find the tower. I thought I needed to go to... it doesn't matter. Let's, so we've also got Far From Home. Salty Mast in Undra's Gift. Speak with Free Contacts. Elka. No, where... Oh, wait. She might be over here. Might have been that one woman I saw alone. Wait, we spoke to these people? Isabel? No, I don't think we have. You see a large forest, lush forest, quiet and dark in the early morning light. This woman walks through the trees, a captivated look on her face. She doesn't appear to have a particular destination in mind, as she wanders slowly between the enormous trunks, looking up through the branches and occasionally making a low chirping sound. When a responding chirp echoes through the quiet morning, she turns her head to that direction, obviously not concerned with losing her way. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, just a fucking sneeze. A loud metallic snap, followed by a quick yelp, cuts through the air and she looks to it, focusing in the direction from which the sound came. She moves toward on the verge of running. She seems to realize that the caution is important and freezes, looking down, her foot hovering over the pressure plate on a well-hidden bear trap. She leans back and gingerly places her foot back on the ground next to the trap. She looks around, anger darkening her features. Grabbing a nearby branch, she presses down the plate and disables the trap. When it snaps shut, she hears another yelp, this time much closer, scanning the ground for more traps. She carefully makes her way towards the trapped animal. Regardless, one of the trees, she spies him, a large wolf, bony and malnourishment, right hind leg held tight in the rusty metal teeth. He looks at her, and a low growl starts in the back of his throat. His hackles rise and she pauses briefly to let him catch his scent. She lowers herself closer to the ground and she holds her hand out, her palms down in front of her. "Aren't you a beautiful boy?" She inches towards the wolf. Well, she's alive, so obviously that worked. And Justilla the Palzerka Stobar. You see a dark room. Noise filters in through the nearby doorway. The sound of battle, scuffling, metal on metal, cries of pain. Rise and fall as she fights rages. As the fight rages outside, there is a bellowing of rage as Zurip runs into the room, holding a book tightly against its chest. It looks around fanatically, searching for something. It hurries to the far side of the room and opens a box sitting on a makeshift table. It places the book in the box and closes it, and then bends over to push the box under the table. A small stone hits the back of the Zurip's head, knocking it forward a little. The stone bounces to the ground, rattling a little as it comes to the rest on the floor next to the Zurip's foot. It freezes in place, hands still over the box, eyes wide as the clattering of the stone quiet. Silence takes control of the room again. The battle outside has stopped. It spins around to find a woman standing in the doorway, leaning on a savage-looking two-handed sword. That book contains the answers I need. She snarls at it, moving forward. It hisses, rushing to meet her. Seconds later, she is receiving the stone from the floor, having separated its head from its neck with a practiced flick of the sword. She smiles, kisses the stone, and then places it in a pouch on her belt, patting it fondly. Leaning over, she pulls a box from under the table and opens it, elated with her find. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm unfortunately going to have to end this part. I don't know how long this is, but if it's been short, I will extend the next part. But I'll see you guys in the next part. See you guys then.